Hi guys, so in this particular video, I will be sharing with you guys some of the lessons that I've learned over the past week. So this is like a new thing that I'm introducing to this channel where I basically talk over some of the things that I'm learning, basically documenting my journey and sharing the things that I learned as I go, right? So yeah, getting into it, right? So first of all, I realized that uh, not calling the leads as soon as possible is actually hindering my ability to get as many clients as I can, right? That is something that I realized. And this is again the thing that I mentioned about voicemails, and you can like record videos and send them after they respond positively to your offer if you're not able to call them. But calling them is like going to give you the best conversion rates, right? So because I'm like international, that is like I have to pay to a particular subscription for 12 or something to basically call the leads, or I have to go high level before I'm even like, and I have to like pay for the call separately. But yeah, if you are from the US or if you are calling where you are basically located, that's where your clientele is. I think that is an advantage that you have, right? So that is great. But yeah, that is was one of the realizations that I had. Another takeaway was from a video that I watched from Matt Shields. If you haven't checked out his channel, I would highly recommend you guys check it out. Right, so this was like from a call that he did with Alex Hermosi. So they had like a consultation call kind of with Alex Hermosi. He charges like a crazy amount of like $50,000 to $100,000 per call. And these like in this particular video, he shared some of the takeaways that he had from that particular call. So he shared one of the lessons was to think deeply before you speak. Now we are often like rushed based on like, okay, I want to make this particular decision, and like as soon as someone says something to us, we jump onto like, okay, how to respond to this person as soon as possible rather than taking a moment and letting that sink in, thinking about it, processing it, and then giving a thoughtful reply, right? So I also have a good quote that I have noted down, which is, it's better to uh, say a wise thing by thinking slowly than a foolish thing by thinking quickly, right? Oh yeah, it's better to say a wise thing, think slowly. Okay, I have a typo right here. Let me just fix that. And I'm not going to be cutting a lot of these things because I know nobody watches my videos anyways. I'm just doing it for my own practice, right? Secondly is being radically honest with yourself, right? Now this was the lesson where he talks about how we are usually delusioning, like we're lying to ourselves, and that doesn't help. He gave an example where Alex Hermosi asked him a question like, why was the sales low, or your sales low for the past month? And they basically blamed the market. And when Hermosi dug deeper into it, it turns out it was in the market, right? Yeah, so it turns out it was actually their sales team and something around that was basically like, there was basically a bottleneck between the sales teams and an issue on that part, right, which was leading to a slow sales month, right? So we often like to escape uh, what really is the truth, because the truth is often hard to accept, right? We have to kill our ego and face the truth. But if we lie to ourselves, we're not taking responsibility, first of all, and second of all, we are not solving the thing that we actually need to solve that particular problem, and that just leads in a downward spiral, right? The third thing that he shared as a lesson was that most things don't matter and the few things matter a lot, right? So in this particular takeaway, he talks about uh, the 80-20 principle, right? So we often worry about the 20% of the things that do not matter, and I'm sorry, the 80% of the things that do not matter, and but instead we have to focus on the 20% that actually do matter, right? So most of the things do not matter, and that is why you don't have to like delusionize yourself with working with several different things, and just focus on one thing and go very deep into it. right? Okay, so another takeaway from this particular thing was that the vehicle is more important than the path, right? So the vehicle that you are, so there's a path and the vehicle is running onto it. So the vehicle actually is more important than the path. I actually don't fully understand this yet. I'll have to kind of look back into the video and understand this in a much better way, right? So moving on to the another lesson is lead gen is a commoditized space. Leads are a commodity, and that is why Alex mentioned that he is against the SMM business model, right? It's not like out publicly, but he also talks about that on like his private mentorship calls, right? And that is because like leads are a commodity, right? And you cannot build a sustainable business on a commodity. That is why you can see whenever an agency scales to like 1 million, 2 million, right? And after that, they basically sell the agency, right? You can see with many of the YouTubers, SMMA YouTubers, they're basically building the agency and selling it to start something that is uh, much more scalable, right? So that is the thing. Leads are commodity space, but it is fine to start if you're like a complete beginner. SMMA business model can give you a lot of skills like marketing, sales to further like ahead in your entrepreneurship journey. Build something that is tangible and that is very scalable, right? So yeah, so yes, that is one of the notes. It's very hard to build an amazing business with when it's built on a commodity. So yeah, that is a good note to have. You have to start SMMA not as a thing that you're going to do this forever, right? You're going to be getting a good cash flow in, right? And you're going to be getting a good money and experience and the skills to further invest in your business that has much more leverage and it's not a commodity, right? So Alex also suggested them to pivot to like a real estate marketing agency, like they had a marketing agency to a brokerage, right? Which is again because of the commodity problem that I just mentioned. Now, the another takeaway that I had this week was when I was getting a lot of no shows on my demo calls, right? So previously, what I was doing was I had this intro call. By the way, I'm selling free trials, right? So on free trials as well, there was a lot of no shows in the demo calls, right? So I was watching this Joel Kaplan's video, and he mentioned that uh, you will have the intro call where you basically understand the requirements, and then you schedule a demo call. And I was getting a lot of no shows on a demo call, and that is when I basically transitioned into like a one call close when I'm basically selling free trials, which is they don't have to pay me anything. But I mean, I do have like a commitment fee, $100 commitment fee that they have to pay just to make sure that they are serious about this. And because if they don't have any commitment, they are going to be a pain in the ass, right? And you don't want to attract that type of clients. Uh, so that, again, that is $100 is refundable. So technically, it is still free. But yeah, that is something that I do. I also talked about that in another video, so you can check that out if you want to see why do I charge a refundable fee during my free trials, right? So I basically transitioned into a one call close. So I have a different script and everything. I basically asked them for the requirements, like, okay, how did you get started? And then I dig deeper into their problems and implication, the spin method, and after that I basically tell them my story. So the story thing I recently learned from Dylan Wilson. He's a super cool guy, and I learned a lot of things from him. I'm also in his program. So if you guys are not enrolled, I would highly recommend you guys check out the 30-day challenge. It's super good. So that is in his program I learned the importance of uh, of where was I actually forgot. Fuck. Yeah, I learned the importance of telling stories, because when you tell stories to people, uh, because like that is why it is much easier to sell to your family members, because they know your story, right? But if you're a random guy just pitching and pitching and pitching, they are not going to feel that human connection with you, and they're not going to be basically trust you, because at the end of the day, when you're doing free trials, it's mainly a trust problem. That if I because you're basically selling yourself in the free trial, not your service. Right. So I included the story, and after that, I basically showed them the system and basically took the $100. So that is my takeaways. Thanks for watching.